When does singer gets lost in translation? Let's look closer at the process of learning how to sing. From the teacher's perspective, of course, that will depend on the type of a teacher, whether he knows what is consistent sound and natural placement is, his ability to find and respect students' natural voice and his fach eventually, his intellectual ability, knowledge about human machine, and his ability to translate it to an individual student. Now, let's imagine for one moment that we have an ideal teacher. And what is an ideal teacher? Let's put two qualities. First, the teacher was a great singer himself or herself. Second quality, loves teaching and became a great vocal coach. In that ideal situation, should anybody be lost in translation? Let me give you a spiritual comparison for enlightenment. As one spiritual teacher was asked about misunderstanding of Buddha, Buddha is always doomed to be misunderstood properly, because his realm lies away from verbal word, away from conditioned minds. Let me translate this wisdom for classical vocal students. Sound cannot be understood or expressed verbally. Reading books is dangerous for inexperienced singers because books give concepts and not reality. In 19th century, vocal music was full of vocally ignorant instrumentalists who started giving their suggestions based on great singers' cliches, taking them out of context, of course. In fact, when teacher uses same cliche to different students, that has nothing to do with teaching them individually. Majority of students also believe, unfortunately, in collective mind approaches, though they might not consciously recognize it or understand it clearly. This ambiguity can be easily fixed if you ask a student two seemingly innocent questions. First question, would you like a teacher who will approach your voice individually? The answer will be stupid if the student says no. Of course, you will say yes. Second question, would you like to study with a maestro who made this great star? Again, stupid question. The answer will be, of course, I'll give my life to it. And if you sense a little controversy here, if you don't, let me give you a Cornell McNeil expression about it. Great baritone Cornell McNeil said in the interview with Jerome Hines, I quote not exactly, but something like this: one may like to study with Professor Joe Blow, who made Mr. John Johnston be a beautiful star, but that may be the only student his teacher made. Most of the teachers invite you to the world of sensations, naively assuming that the whole world having exactly the same ones. Others treat you with smart theories, with new complicated scientific words and definitions.
Correct vocal folds impedance will depend on Bernoulli effect.
Lily Lemon was concerned about this ignorance, ruining many voices. She was concerned that some non-singing vocal coaches suggested, for example, the trick of projection, like send your voice at the end of the auditorium to the deaf lady of 100 years old. Anyways, her answer to that cliche was absolutely negative. She instead insisted on personal sensation inside your body. But instead of saying that personal sensations are subjective, she made them universal. And though she was against multi-timbral approach, she was an advocate of one-timbral appoggio way of singing. her book, How to Sing, created confusion. It created so-called placement schools she was so against herself. Now, let me quote somebody. Placement is nonsense, complete crap. You begin setting up in somebody's mind places here. You should think, okay, I will place the tone in my left ear. That stuff simply doesn't work. I quoted great American baritone Cornell McNeil. Now, let me give you a completely different approach that includes Lily Lemon's idea about placement in our head and how do we actually get it. I say that singer needs his personal sensations to properly operate his voice, but how does he know that sensation brings correct sound? What role a teacher should play in that? Voice teachers should propose some sensations if after several attempts student fails to get it. A teacher should never say to a student, you must feel that way or another, but rather you might feel that way or the opposite. When student finds a correct sound, teacher confirms. That's it. How do you feel? What do you sense? Teacher should not be upset if student does not confirm his sensations. On the contrary, he should encourage a student to remember his student's sensations and not proposed teacher's ones. The problem is that some teachers are so ignorant about individual sensations of others that even getting upset with their student disagreeing on sensation part. That's very unintelligent, very egotic. Because if they insist on their own sensations to be carried out by the faithful student, they commit a vocal crime. So the correct translation happens this way. When student produces a correct sound, phrase, etc., teacher asks him to remember the sensation regardless to clichés he was giving prior to its production. Second, student might be confused only if he was brainwashed heavily on how he's supposed to feel it. Third, dropping ideas of cliché sensations altogether and developing, based on actual sounds, new banks of personal sensations, your own sensations. Placement singers often have very diverse sensations of the registers. Some of them because they really have divisions and they were taught those divisions. Others because they were brainwashed with placements, ideas, and sensations and live in it in a virtual reality. True appoggio technique singers doesn't and shouldn't have placement division sensations. His sensations are based on the resonance chiaroscuro and a singer experiences one vibrating voice. As for support sensations, appoggio singer has a variety of muscle sensations in abdominal and especially diaphragmical push-down sensation types. In conclusion, I'd say, if all the classical singers heard exactly what they produce, they'd had much less of a vocal inconsistency, and vocal technique could be mastered 2-3 times faster, and even in some very, very talented cases, talented students should not need a vocal teacher at all. In learning how to sing without confusion, we are learning our own way with the help of outer ear, or the teacher's ear, before we get our personal sensations working for us 100%. We are not just learning intellectually, but organically with the whole body and mind. Thank you very much. That was Franco Tenelli and the Science of Singing.